Okay, I'm back. I'm back, baby. Let me just go ahead and say that we are live again. We'll just go ahead and... put it in the announcements, I guess. I'm back, baby. Okay, sorry for that. My power cut out for like just long enough for my computer to have a shit fest. And then my computer decided it wanted that now was the perfect time for it to update. So, great. I love it. My favorite. But I'm back. And this is gonna have to be a two-parter now, I guess. So, give it time for people to come back in. Let me just get shit up and running again. Yes, I know, Windows security, I know. But we should, hopefully, we'll be stable now. So stupid. Ugh. It is pretty dumb. Okay. Damn it. I was on a roll, too. I'm upset about that. I was starting to get on a roll, man, and I was like ready. I had screenshots ready, and then my power was like, nah. No flipping way, dude. I do have an explanation though. So if I'll be so mad if this happens again, but hopefully not. Um my theory on what happened is that right now maintenance for my apartment complex, they're working on getting hot water back and running for the whole complex, which is as far as I know not working yet. But they're working on it. So I'm thinking, I don't know, one of them was a fucking moron and tapped a power wire, perhaps. And everyone's power went out for like a second. That's my best hypothesis. Pogger champ. Yeah, I know. Kind of takes the wind out of my sails a little bit, but what can you do about it? It was supposed to be fixed yesterday, by the way. So, yeah, that's fun. Anyway, let me get this back up and running. I might as well spend this time getting my first screenshot ready. And I want to try doing this in order as best as I can, so it's all, you know, in a proper order. And, you know, that way everything is in a neat little bow. So I kind of have to comb through these just a little bit. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Gotta put these all in Opera, so gotta queue them up. We're gonna have so many fucking tabs open, it's not even funny. The other part of this. Did I put these in out of order? Also, this gives people a chance to like refresh the stream and come back. So I'm just making sure everything's in order so we don't end up jumping around here. Okay. So, let me get this up and going. Anyways, I was gonna say this earlier and it's heavy. I get frustrated that people get upset over the kill yourself thing reason because it is, I think I earned it. I have 4 people in my life do that, both friends and family. I mean, it's cool if you think you're entitled to do that. I just don't personally like doing it. So I have 2 options: be sensitive to it, or develop a dark sense of humor. I mean, that's fair enough. I mean, I know that someone I look up to, Noel Miller, had a mom who would constantly tell him to kill himself. So I understand where that mentality comes from. I just don't think, personally, that it's a great response to say to somebody in anger. I can kind of get it in jest, but I think there's a time and place for everything. And that's one of those things that I feel like, for me, personally, is there's a time and place for it. But it's not something I really want to argue about too much because I feel like it takes some... Because it's not really what we're talking about today. Alright. Get over here. Hello, I'm back. I'll catch up with your chats in a moment. I get what you're trying to say. Although I do disagree with it to an extent, I understand, Vlad, why you see it that way. Alright. Alright, we're back. Hopefully Wrath comes back. Maybe I need to DM him, because sometimes he doesn't see when I'm actually back live again. Go ahead and quickly DM him. Back. Okay, there we go. Alright, so this first screenshot, I might have to finagle it a little bit. The top is cropped off, so give me a second. Just to fix that. There you go, now you can see the whole thing, kind of. I don't mean I'm entitled, I mean I refuse to allow past events to cause me to be sensitive to it. However, I won't advocate for bullying people that don't deserve it either. That's fair, yes. If there's someone who definitely didn't deserve to be told to kill themselves, it's Miles, for sure. Alright, so this is Jellie, who made this as the document was being made, I'm pretty sure. Or right after the beginning parts of it were released, I guess. But, so this is from Jellie on Twitter. New pinned thread of stuff I want to say before the doc gets done. I was trying to bring it back to topic at hand, but only so many words I can type. Yeah, no, I understand, Glad. Your name is now Glad. When you all tell me there's not evidence to substantiate that Miles is a groomer, that people are lying, what you're asking me to do is turn away victims without a variable amount of proof. I won't do that. You're not turning away victims. You have to prove that they are victims. Like, in order for it to even be classified as turning away victims, you have to prove that they are victims first. You can't just go to the police or to law enforcers or to an authority figure and just be like, this person punched me, and then not be able to prove it. That's a weak argument, or a weak analogy, but still. There's also a funny tweet from Courtney I found. Keep in mind, she is 14, so I don't blame her for being dumb, but I thought it was funny. I can understand where you're coming from, yeah. But yeah, she's kind of trying to, or sorry, they're trying to stand on this sort of soapbox here, so just keep that in mind. What you're asking me to do is turn away victims without a variable amount of proof. I won't do it. And I won't do that because I believe in believing all victims. Well, there's your first problem, right? Because there are people who do lie about being victims, and it's been proven as fact. I honestly believe that, like myself, some of these people had no idea they were targets or that they were being groomed until I said something. And so here Jellie is saying, I didn't even know I was being groomed. That's because you weren't being groomed, Jellie. If anything, it based on the logic that is provided in this document, based on Jellie's own criteria of what constitutes as grooming, there is more evidence that Jellie groomed Miles, not the other way around. Alright? So let's get that out of the way. I would have never known I was groomed if nobody told me. Right, okay. So, to me, it makes perfect sense that some of the victims have come to me don't wait, it makes perfect sense that some of the victims that have come to me don't have screenshots or whatever evidence you want from them because they probably didn't know. I mean, yeah, but why does not knowing in the moment stop them from being able to screenshot it later as evidence? How does that stop them from screenshotting it later? About the doc, if you haven't listened to my voice messages to Zay, I haven't finished it because I've been insanely busy with last minute projects and finals prep. My finals are Monday and Tuesday next week. Yeah, she's like, I'm lit too busy with school to finish these grooming allegations that I thought were so important to get out there. But like, I'm just too busy. I'm lit busy. I got bored and I wanted to do something else. And the Miles situation basically crashed the one weekend I had to work freely. Then fucking wait until next weekend to put out these allegations. My god, I love deflection. Jellie is why I default to doubting. No, you should. You can believe somebody, like, if, okay, let's give an example. If Wrath, for example, came to me and told me that somebody was sexually harassing him, whether online or in real life, my gut instinct would be to believe him, but I would still ask for proof. And I think that Wrath is mature enough and stable enough to understand that I would still need proof that it happened. You can believe somebody. Like, even if you believe something is the truth, you still need to back it up with evidence. I wouldn't just start throwing it around as if it was true if I don't actually have proof for it. But anyway, Jellie is trying to say, like, it's such a paradox, right? Like, it was such important information that Jellie had to get it out there unfinished, but not important enough to finish it. So, that's a bit of a paradox here. I personally believe that to the best, I mean, it's clearly not finished, but to the best of her ability, or, God, their ability, they felt like everything in the document was, like, sufficient. I mean, clearly they think that the evidence in this unfinished document is already sufficient enough to just conclude that Miles is some kind of child groomer. But there's no evidence. There's no actual evidence in there. And then when people say that there's no evidence, she just defaults to saying, like, well, I'm just too busy to finish it right now. It's unfinished. Don't publish it then. I know I keep pushing the doc finish date out, and it's getting repetitive. I wonder why. Maybe it's because you don't have any evidence. And annoying, but please understand that I have real-life obligations and that I cannot, at this time, delegate that kind of time. So he's basically saying, I'm not finishing these unfinished allegations that I'm making against somebody that are very fucking serious because I have a life. So don't judge me. It's like, God, who was it that said, like, I can't remember. Shit, I can't remember, so I'm not gonna bring it up. Shut the fuck up, I'm projecting. I would also appreciate it if y'all stopped calling me a liar over it, or fence-sitting about it. So, I would appreciate if you would stop doubting my claims that I haven't proven. Thank you. Have a nice day. Basically. Cannot believe, this is another tweet on the same day, but cannot believe the Miles deniers, I guess that's what we are now. Like, once again, why would I have any, god damn, words, I know that they're hard. Once again, why would I have any reason to fake this? I guess one, Why would I have any reason to fake it? You have motive. There is motive there. Because Miles broke up with you and you're possibly mad about it. That's a motive to do something like this. Because by your own admission, you were obsessed with her until the point where she broke up with you, and then you were mad about it, found a reason to continue being mad at her by making her out to be a groomer so that it makes you feel better. Like, oh no, she didn't break up with me. She was just grooming me. So it wasn't a real breakup. I was the victim. She admitted to it. No, she didn't. There's no proof of Miles admitting to it, and any admittance, quote unquote, that's in the document, you actually can't prove. Like, there's no name attached to those admittances, so you can't actually prove they're from the person you say it's from. You N-words have never even heard of her telling me I'm lying like you would know her Wait, what? You N-words have never even heard of her telling me I'm lying like you know her personally. What? Oh, there's supposed to be punctuation in there. God, I know. English is hard, everybody. You N-words have never even heard of her telling me, like, period, telling me I'm lying like you know her personally. You don't have to know her personally to know that what's being said about them isn't true. Okay? I don't know Miles. Most of us don't know Miles, but we can tell just from the evidence you provided that it's not sufficient enough. A lawyer doesn't have to know the person they're defending in court to be able to defend them. The amount of deflection reminds me of Brian. His Twitter thread is proof that sequels are often worse than the original. Yeah. Anyway, the last and final most important point. L plus ratio plus seethe plus mauled plus cope, or whatever the kids say these days. Jellie, you are a kid. Don't try. Like, again, this is more proof that kids want to see themselves as adults so badly. Whatever the kids say these days, as if Jellie is not a kid. Alright. And also, I can see that Jellie is taking this so seriously, you guys. Anyway. Also, shut the fuck up about why I haven't called the police, because, one, I'm black. I know that he's black, but that's not relevant to this whatsoever. Two, some of the victims don't want that to happen yet. Why? If it's serious, why do they not want it to happen yet? What do they need in order for it to happen? What criteria needs to be met in order for this to be reported to the police? Yeah, that's okay, Rune. My stream crashed, so I had to leave too. Some of the victims don't want that to happen yet. Here's my theory as to why some of these quote-unquote victims don't want this to be reported to authorities. Because they don't want their parents to know the shit that they've been saying online. That's the reason why they don't want this reported. Yeah, it's the whole all cops are bad thing. You can't really talk someone out of that mentality. It is what it is. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah? I quoted that retweet and I got dogpiled. Which one? This one? Or the previous one? Miles is on a time limit for Saturday, so that's tomorrow. What that time limit is, here, this is the time limit. The time limit about calling Cyber Tip Line. I'm giving Miles till Saturday to tell her parents and put them in contact with me. Why? You're not entitled to that. Because you're not a victim. If anything, Miles is the victim of you. By your own logic. By your own, like, definition of what grooming is, you are more culpable of grooming Miles than Miles is of grooming you. Sorry. But based on what is shown in the document, that's what it is. Ugh. So yeah. That's Jellie, everybody. Taking this about as seriously as any 15-year-old would. And this is just shit I found. That there's probably more, but yeah. Anyway, hello everybody that's jumping back in. Sorry that things fell apart. Kumo said that I was supposed to spam him in DMs. when we started talking about this, and he would come back. They're trying to be Leo Convoy. I mean, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if he's implying that the police won't do anything because you're black, that's just objectively false. They wouldn't do anything because there's no evidence of actual grooming here. That's why they wouldn't do anything. I don't think that Jellie understands this because Jellie is, you know, an angry teenager that's just lashing out because they were dumped earlier this month. Like this, the dumping didn't even happen that long ago. I really think that Jellie is just mad. Literally pulling the race card over not wanting to report a pedo by their own logic. Well, they're not the only ones who pulled the race card, trust me. But we'll get to that later. Now, I gotta go back into my folder of stuff. And find some other shit. Sorry, this is a little disorganized, but I collected all of these earlier. But I have to make sure everything is in perfect order. I could literally say someone killed me, and y'all would be like, actually you killed yourself because someone would have to be a documented serial killer to do that. And then someone said, if you told me someone killed you, I don't think I'd believe you. I could not help but screenshot this one. I could literally say someone killed me and you wouldn't believe me. Like, actually, yes. Actually, yes, I would not believe you. Fuck, dude. I have no reason to be mad at this. I just thought it was funny. I don't know if this was, like, intentional comedy or not. If it was, like, ironic comedy, like, well done. It's the funniest shit I've ever read. I knew there was more to it. Okay, sorry. I was wondering where the rest of it went, right? So there's more to this thread. I'm sorry. I thought for some reason I didn't screenshot the rest of it. But the rest of Jellie's thread, the original thread. Well, let me just pull up the last part of the other one. If I can fucking find it. Here it is. Alright, sorry, but please understand that I have real life. So this is her just being like, I'm too busy to finish the document. Sorry for having a life. LOL. Sorry I'm trying to ruin somebody's life, but I have a life. Anyway, she continues, or sorry, they continue. I'd also really appreciate it if y'all stopped calling me a terrible person. Oh my god, isn't it awful when somebody just calls you a terrible person for no good reason? That must feel so bad, Jellie. You must hate that. I bet that feels really awful when lots and lots of people are just calling you an awful person. Anyway, I'd also really appreciate it if y'all stopped calling me a terrible person because I won't go to the police. Because I won't go to the police in the victim's interest, slightly in Miles' own interest because the justice system is not kind to black people, and I would really like to see her actually make improvements. Yeah, no. Yeah, no. You said that you regretted not telling them to kill themselves, so I don't know about that. It would also be very much appreciated if you guys stopped trying to settle grudges over this or make content out of this. And to this, she's talking about Peaches and Omnia and Zay and Leo and everybody else. I'm sorry. Disorganized screenshots. I know it's not my fault. Discord uploaded them out of order, okay? Their ego got hurt more than Peaches. I don't know. It just seems like a kid being a kid. I know I keep saying that, but again, I don't expect... I don't know. I don't know Jellie's true intentions. I'm saying this now. Nobody... Okay, this is funny. Ready? I press X to doubt on this. I'm saying this now. Nobody wants videos. Nobody wants exposure. I really wasn't expecting this to blow up as much as it did, and I just want to be left alone so that me and the other victims can figure our shit out. Like, I was in what I thought was a happy relationship with Miles last week. Say this to say, shut the fuck up, please and thank you. It's interesting that she says that like, I don't want videos, nobody wants exposure. Like, I don't want anyone to talk about this. I just want to deal with it, right? But you publicly posted a document accusing somebody else that just broke up with you of being a child predator. And the reason why this contradicts, and the way I find this so ironic, is because, and now I have to fucking find it. Okay, here we go. Here's another one that she made, and I don't exactly know if this was before or after. Must have been. Because I took all these screenshots at around the same time, but I'm still not sure if this was before or after. But anyway, here's a random Twitter person saying, just wanted to ask, what's the best way for everyone to support all of the victims? Heart emoji. I know a lot of stuff is still coming out, and I'm very glad parents are involved. That's debatable. Sorry, are you guys seeing this shit? Okay, good. I know a lot of stuff is still coming out, and I'm very glad parents are involved. But some of the wider community has had less than ideal reactions, and I wondered what would be best for y'all. Jellie responds with, to be honest, the best thing you can do right now is retweet what you see about the situation and or give me any leads about it, / anyone to block, plus retweet the doc when it comes out, heart emoji. Retweet! Spreading awareness, giving it attention. I mean, again, probably because she's a teen and she doesn't really have enough mental development to be able to perceive future consequences for short-term actions. Like, teenagers don't typically have long-form decision-making developed at this stage, right? So she probably didn't foresee that making a call-out post of this nature in a moment of anger would get attention, and not just attention, but also scrutiny. Like, I wanted people to blindly just reblog this document, but I didn't want anyone to actually read it. I didn't want anyone to actually see if there was any evidence in it. I feel like they wanted, people to just see that the document was made and just believe the accusations at face value and then spread it around to ruin Miles's reputation as quickly and as good as possible. But then when people were starting to scrutinize it and call it into question and be like, well, wait a minute, this doesn't actually show what you're saying that it shows, then she backpedaled and just started saying like, oh, well, I don't want any attention for it. I just want to be left alone. Like, it doesn't make any sense because it's such a double, like, it's so two-faced. And I think it's because she didn't perceive that people would actually question it. She seems like the kind of person that's just used to being believed. And it's, yeah. It's a lot. But, speaking of not wanting people to make videos or make content about it, well, I think you guys can guess what we're about to dive into. I'm sorry, I just cannot give any good faith to her just because she's a teen. I hold everyone to the same standards with little to no exception. If you can be tried as an adult for murder, well, I mean, yeah, but murder and making stupid accusations to somebody are not the same thing. I get what you're saying, and I know that that's your personal belief. But, yeah. I try to give good faith where I possibly can until it's proven that it's not in good faith. But, in fairness to you, like, she hasn't really done much to show that this was actually in good faith. I know that you kind of hold all of those things to the same standard, but you have to remember that that's kind of just you, Gilded. I haven't really met anyone else that's like that to that extent. Wants attention, receives negative attention, complains. Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much what this is. Alright, so, you know what we're about to get into, right? The thing that everybody fucking here has been waiting for. So, on December 11th, so this all happened pretty rapidly after the document came out. This is a terrible screenshot, by the way. I apologize. I forgot to crop out, the stuff that's at the top and the bottom. But anyway, Jellie puts out a tweet, December 11th, saying, imagine getting pissy over somebody you don't even know like this. And this is Jellie posting the screenshots of the DMs that she had with HopelessPeaches. The reason why I wanted to cover all of the document and all the accusations around it first is because it's not just about Peaches and her massive fuck up, because she's just, honestly, she's like a tiny, tiny, tiny little part in all this. And it's honestly because of her trying to hyper involve herself that this blew up to this extent in the first place. I mean, that's how I heard of it. Rune sent to me a video made by Kai Weiss, is that it? Zay or whatever his fucking name is. And that's how I found out about this. And I was like, well, really? I take a break from Twitter for a few days and then shit goes down? God damn it. I always like have the worst timing. But yeah. And then of course I went immediately to go check her alternate Twitter account, and surprise, it was protected. So I was like, damn it, I missed everything. Did they off themselves? No. I honestly don't know what Miles is doing right now. I genuinely hope Miles is doing okay. Like, I hope that they can find a way to recover from this, even if they never come back to, like, social media. Because this just sucks all around. I guess the biggest lesson they can take from this is just don't be horny on main. Because it gets especially, like, if you're going to be horny with somebody, confirm their age first. Especially now that, she's going to be 18 next year, that she's going to have to start keeping that in consideration. There has been a bit of a pattern with, teenagers getting, like, being really, really, like, horny online during their teenage years, and then that carries on into their adulthood without any checks or balances, and then they get into a lot of trouble. So hopefully, it's sort of a byproduct of being, like, quote unquote exposed at a young age, unfairly in this case. But if Miles has to learn anything from this, I hope it's that, at least, and maybe to pick better friends. If there's anything to be learned from this. I am your senior. Okay. Yeah, we know. We'll get to it. One thing at a time, guys. I'm trying to say that at first it was like, oh, what's Peaches up to now? But as I looked at, like, the entire situation, I was like, yeah, Peaches is just a small part of it. And the actual accusations are far more serious and damaging than anything Peaches tried to do, So that's why I wanted to go over everything first, because this isn't just to dunk on Peaches, although it is like sad and funny at the same time that she found herself in this situation again, and did, like, exactly, and responded to it the exact same way that she always responds to shit like this. So that's the funny part, but that's why I wanted to cover everything else first. Anyway, Jellie puts out this tweet, and I have the screenshots here. But again, I just want to make sure they're in order. God damn it, I posted the same one again. Fuck me, dude. I'm sorry, I'm working with limited software here. That limited software being me, my brain. Damn it! Shut up. I'm working with faulty hardware here. Alright. From Peaches. It'd be nice, if Jellie knew how to screenshot their shit better, because maybe turn off Twitter notifications when you're trying to screenshot Twitter stuff, please, because now it's blocking that it's from Peaches, but we all know it's from Peaches, so. And also I think it shows it in other screenshots anyway. But Peaches says, hello. And if that's all she said, this would be a fine thing. Opera GX. I know, shut up. Why do y'all hate opera so much? It's good, I promise. Alright, hello. I saw your... This is Peaches, by the way. Hello. I saw your document on Miles, and I would like to have a word with you. I know some of the people in the doc want to be anonymous, but the one who is 18 years old does not need... Does... Oh, sorry. But the one who is 18 years old does need to speak with me also. And just a reminder, all the 18-year-olds' involvement in this document is that they sent a message to Jellie saying that one time the minor made them uncomfortable. That's it. That's the only involvement that this 18-year-old has in this document. Who the fuck is Tom? I don't think it matters. Turkey Tom, maybe? Fail. Jellie says, question mark, why? I'm not gonna release the info of an anon to randoms. And then again, Jellie doesn't know who Hopeless Peaches is. And so Peaches immediately says, I'm going to be making a video breaking down your document as it is all slander with no proof. I want the information of the 18-year-old user because they are the most accountable for this document's release. And I think it is scummy of them to hide behind a 15-year-old. First of all, the 18-year-old did not make the document. The 18-year-old in question didn't make any of the other accusations in question. All they said was that Miles made them kinda uncomfortable. That's it. So I don't know why Peaches is going so gung-ho over, like, one 18-year-old mentioned in the document that was, like, written almost entirely by 15-year-olds and 14-year-olds. So it's kind of dumb that she's going, spyware? Oh, you think so? I don't know, man. It's the best browser I've used so far because everything else is slow as fuck. Alright. So yeah, here you can see it is from Hopeless Peaches, but Hopeless Peaches says, I would strongly advise you to take down your document and make an apology. I will be breaking down very critically in the coming weeks. I find it very bold for Peaches to just say, like, I'm going to be making a video about this, when she doesn't even know, like, anything about the situation whatsoever, and there really isn't much to make a video about. Honestly, I don't think she was ever intending on making a video about this. I really don't. I think at most it would have been another Senate badgering video on, like, Queen Seraphina's channel or some shit. At most. I don't think she ever intended on making a video about it. I don't think she's telling the truth here. I'll be breaking it down very critically in the coming weeks. I won't. I love this part. I won't be putting you on blast as it's unfair to a kid, but this is woefully inappropriate and dangerous. Hence, I want to talk to the adults involved. So here it comes off as like Peaches being like, I will show you mercy, because I am a merciful god. And you're just a plebeian who doesn't know any better. You're just a pawn. And you have no thoughts of your own. You have no responsibility for this. I want the information of the adults involved. And Jellie, I mean, understandably so, says, okay, and why is the 18-year-old responsible? You still haven't explained that. Exactly. And I've read the entire document pretty deeply, and again, the only thing the 18-year-old says is they made me a little uncomfortable. That's it. Because they know what they have done is wrong. And what did they do? Encouraging this from you is wrong. How did you know that this was encouraged by the 18-year-old? Would you be, of course, in the old-fashioned Peaches way, would you be able to have a call with me via Discord? AKA, would you like to come into a badgering call with me and Leo and maybe 5 other people so we can all yell at you and maybe threaten to call your parents? No. It's probably the smartest thing that Jellie ever did was say no to getting into a call with Peaches and Leo. Anyway, Jellie says, encouraging a victim to amplify the voices of other victims is wrong? Be serious for a sec. Do you actually believe what I'm doing is wrong, or do you just not want Miles to get shit for what she did? First of all, I do believe that what you're doing is wrong, and I don't believe that Miles did anything, that deserves Miles getting this amount of shit for. The document is full of false information that could cause genuine harm to people. That's probably the most accurate thing Peaches has said so far. Both for yourself and for the others mentioned and Miles. True. Probably probably this. I mean, honestly, she probably could have just sent this to Jellie, and that could have been the end of it. Like this. Just, hey, I think the document has false information in it. Bye-bye! In another timeline. In another timeline. Firefox is actually based. I've tried Firefox. Slow as fuck, man. He just getting curb stomped by a minor kind of cringe. Jesus. A little bit. It's a little cringe. Alright, sorry. I need to make sure I'm in the right place. Mind you, here's her admitting... Oh, mind you, here's her admitting to close case. And that refers to the other one, where it's a very, very tiny screenshot. A very poorly cropped screenshot. Something about depressed, and this is Miles saying this. Something about depressed. I started thinking about our relationship and how we got here so fast, and I was just asking to slow down. Why would a groomer with the intent to go sexual with their grooming victim ask to slow things down and think that, hey, we're moving too quickly? Isn't that what a groomer wants? You can block trackers using Firefox to make it faster. Same with Brave. Oh, you know what? I did used to use Brave. Maybe I'll go back to using that. But yeah, this just calls everything into question. Again, like, her breaking up with Jellie is the whole reason that Jellie made this, like, started on this quest in the first place. But why? If Miles was a groomer, why would they want to slow things down? That doesn't make any sense. Wouldn't they want to speed up and get to the sexual stuff as soon as possible? This could even be Miles responding to the fact that Jellie was sending her nudes and being like, "Hey, maybe slow down a little bit. We barely know each other." And at this point, Jellie was obsessed with her by her own definition. She said herself that she was obsessed with Miles. I guess we can understand why Enlaa thinks Firefox is slow. What with all those power... I don't have that many power outages, okay? This was like a one-time... the first time it happened in like a couple months. Maybe like 2 months. And it only went out for like a split second. It was just enough for the computer to turn off, unfortunately. But still. Ahem. But yeah, this doesn't prove that Miles groomed anybody. This is proof that Miles was in a relationship with a 15-year-old who was only a year younger than her. And that Miles is the one who initiated the breakup. Why would a groomer decide to break up with their grooming victim for the very reason why she would be grooming them? It doesn't make any sense. So this isn't an admission of anything. I don't know why Jellie thinks that's admitting it. Anyway, that's what she sent to Peaches. 2 months? I mean, that's a guesstimate, okay? Anyway, Jellie says, mind you, here's her admitting to close case. Oh, that was for Chloe? But still, it's still the same thing. Hey, we're moving too fast, let's break up. Why would a groomer want that? Anyway. Peaches just totally ignores Jellie's questions and their statements and the screenshot and just goes right to, I'd like to have a proper conversation with you to explain this if you'd like. I will have to make... I love this, because she's like, I will have to make a video regardless, as this has been spread by many adults on Twitter now too. But I'm not here to bash the kids involved here. Why are you here? What date and year did Miles talk to this Chloe? Yeah, she even, like, misspells Chloe's name for some reason. I don't know. Maybe she was just typing really fast. But it's like, no, Peaches, you don't have to make a video on this. You want to make a video, or at least you're saying that you're gonna have to make a video on this. If you had to make a video on this, you wouldn't have suddenly dropped this entire thing the second you started getting backlash. The issue is that you're thinking about all this. You're not supposed to think, you're supposed to consume! Yeah, it's like, if she thought it was, like, such a dangerous thing and a life-threatening thing, if she thought it was so, like, if it was so important to make a video about this that she had no choice but to make a video and cover it and criticize it, Why did she immediately drop it and stop talking about it the second that she started getting backlash for it? It makes no sense. None of these people make sense. I want to make it clear, I'm on nobody's side throughout, like, this entire situation. Like, I'm not on the supposed victim side. I'm not on Peach's side. I'm not even on Miles's side, although I do have empathy for her. Like, I don't think teenagers should be, like, acting so horny online. I just don't think any of these people should be online. You know, I'd go outside, make friends, be a child, be a teenager, live your life. What are you doing on Twitter all day? Anyway, Jellie says in response to what date and years did Miles talk to this Chloe, Jellie says, I don't have an exact date, but it was this year when she was 16. Wait, what? Oh, I guess she's talking about Miles. And I have a screenshot of her admitting to Courtney that she had a crush on Chloe. Hang on. First of all, no, you don't. If it's the same screenshot that we saw in the document, that's not evidence. And even then, a crush is nothing. And Peaches rightfully points out that's a 2-year age gap. But I guess if it's maybe her math is a little bit off, but if it's between a 16-year-old and a 13-year-old, that would actually be a 3-year-old age gap, so I think her math is a little off. The Twitter brain rot is real. Yeah. Alright, so here's the screenshot, and again, this is the same exact one that we saw in the doc, which actually doesn't prove... This does not prove that Miles admitted to having a crush on Chloe. Okay, let's get that out of the way. Also, have I been saying it as Chloe this whole time when it's actually Chloe? God, I'm stupid. I just realized that it's probably Chloe. Fuck me, dude. I can't read. I'm working on faulty hardware. Here, Mimi is Miles, by the way. And while she was saying this, she was complimenting Chloe's body on her private, which, you know, something you didn't show. If this was true and you were able to prove it, why didn't you screenshot this and put it in your document? So, again, this isn't proof of anything, and just because you say that they were doing something doesn't make it true. You have to show it. And here's the thing, right? This whole, like, well, she admitted to it. First of all, no, she hasn't. But even if she did come out and say, like, everything people are saying is right about me. I'm a groomer. I did disgusting things. I can't believe I did this. I'm so sorry. Even if Miles said that, that doesn't instantly make it true. You still have to prove it. And plus, Miles is also a minor, and minors are easily influenced. If a ton of people are pressuring her and telling her that she's a bad person and a disgusting, vile predator, as a minor, she's probably going to believe it. Because she also doesn't know any better. So if a bunch of people, adults included, are yelling at her and telling her that she's a predator groomer, she's just going to take it at face value because, you know, dozens and dozens of people can't all be wrong, right? So yeah, you can be peer pressured into giving a false confession so that even if she said that, it means nothing because it would be a false confession and it just wouldn't be accurate. And you still have to prove it. Someone can go to the police and be like, hey, I just murdered somebody, but they can't say who they murdered and why and when, and they can't give any proof that they actually murdered somebody. The police can't then just, like, prosecute and send that person to jail just because they said that they murdered somebody. You would still have to prove it. Anyway. Peaches starts saying something down here, but I'm pretty sure the next screenshot shows it in full. Yeah. So Peaches says, again, she's not actually, like, trying to have a conversation with Jellie in DMs. But again, she just says, I would really suggest having a proper conversation. Like, this isn't somehow a proper conversation that Jellie is clearly trying to have with Peaches right now. But Peaches just keeps ignoring everything that Jellie is telling her and just keeps trying to pressure her into, like, getting into a call with her. I won't say that's inappropriate, but it's just like, why did you bother coming into DMs anyway? You know? Bit off topic, but I get why these people can't just go outside. It'd be nice if they had better spaces for them online. I mean, they used to. There used to be shit like Neopets and Webkins and Club Penguin that were definitely more kid-friendly than fucking Twitter. Not perfect, but better than Twitter. You know? Or Discord. Anyway, Peaches says, I would really suggest having a proper conversation. This is great. I've done predator hunting on many cases, such as the glitch tail and other situations. And I have a guy here. I got a guy here who has done it for like 5 years. Mind you, she's referring to Leo, who doesn't have any experience in actual, like, predator criminal case anything. These people have no professional experience. So when she says, I've done predator hunting on many cases, these aren't cases! These aren't criminal cases. And if she's referring to the fact that, well, I've made police reports, again, surprise, anybody can make a police report about anything. That doesn't instantly make it a case. You haven't done work on cases, Peaches, and you know this. So the fact that she's saying this to a minor, she's expecting her to not know any better and just take what she says at face value. And it shows how much she's infantilizing this 15-year-old right now. So basically, no, this is not grooming. Even grooming in like the generic sense of what grooming is. I would say this is more manipulation instead of grooming. Okay, I know you're probably trying to make a joke, but listen, I'm in critical thinking mode right now. Let me make more YouTube money, please! I know! I need to use- my rent is low this month, I need you for rent. I need to get you into a call so I can record it and then post it on my father's YouTube channel so he can make fun of more children on the internet. And threaten to call their school and their parents and dox their information. Okay, no, that's inaccurate. Leo didn't actually threaten to dox anyone. There was the potential that it could have been doxed, though, which is the problem. Anyway. Jellie says, I'm not interested in a proper conversation if your only interest is to intimidate me into staying silent. Which, it's a bit jumping to conclusions on Jellie's end, but she kind of has a point that this does feel like intimidation to an extent. Joke's bad. Whatever. But yeah, Peaches continues and says, I'm not here to intimidate you. I'm trying to protect minors from genuine harm. Yeah, okay, Peaches. No, you want content. Can you please just be honest? Okay. Here's the next one. And rightfully so, Jellie asks, why should I trust you? You're telling me to take down the evidence I have because you're going to call me out? I mean, yeah, that's kind of what Peaches is saying here. Like, just saying stuff like, I will have to make a video because of how inaccurate it is. I strongly suggest that you take it down and apologize. And then she responds to the thing about protecting minors from genuine harm by correcting it and saying, trying to protect Miles from accountability. I don't think, in Peach's defense, that's not what she's doing here. I think she genuinely wanted to try and debunk these things, but trying to go immediately, like, you don't have to go immediately to the person who made the doc and be like, maybe you should take this down, otherwise I'm gonna make a video about it. Just make the fucking video. That's what I'm doing. I decided I wanted to make a stream about this to debunk it, so I made a fucking stream. I didn't go to Jellie and just be like, I'm gonna make a stream about this. No, there's no reason to. If you want to make a video on it, make a fucking video on it. You don't have to do all this, like, prancing around and fronting, basically. The adults have encouraged you to do a very bad thing. If they cared, why did they make you the doc? Why did they make you make the doc and not them? Peach is just blatantly assuming that Jellie doesn't understand, like, her own motivations for making the doc. Like, again, just kind of treating her like a dumb, like, small child. And just being like, I'm sorry that people are using you like the dumb kid you are. I mean, don't get me wrong. She is a dumb kid. But she's also a dumb kid who can make her own dumb choices. Alright? It's incredibly disrespectful to just assume that someone is being used without any proof. Peaches went out of her way to DM the minor to force a video. It kind of is just like trying to force a video. She would have done better if she didn't DM the minor in the first place. Yeah, that's exactly what I said. And why are they anon? Probably because they don't actually exist, in my best guess. They were just tagged in there to make the victim count look way more severe than it actually is. At most, there's like 2 potential victims, and we're not even sure about that. The rest of it is just useless filler. Alright, Jellie continues and says, nobody made me or coerced me to make the doc. It was my decision. I believe that. And the reason why I believe that is because I think Jellie was angry that Miles broke up with them. It was my decision, and the 18-year-old came to me after I announced I was working on the doc. And yeah, that's kind of what the DMs show. Or, sorry, the evidence for the 18-year-old's involvement in this. Your name won't be mentioned in my video. Press X to doubt. I just wanted to protect you from any fallout. I just want to protect you. That's why I'm pressuring you into doing things that you don't want to do. I can't ignore this, though. Although, apparently she could ignore it after she was criticized for it. So, I guess she could ignore it. Jellie says, I don't care whether or not my name will be mentioned. You're in my DMs trying to protect me from an 18-year-old that was manipulated by my ex-girlfriend. It's absolutely my problem to make this doc. I mean, they both just have a martyr complex, let's be honest. Considering I was the last victim. You're not a victim. If anything, Miles was a victim of you. Alright. Anyway, Peaches continues. I would ask... this is where it gets good. Here... Peach's ego is clearly bruised. She's realized that this minor is not going to be manipulated into helping her make her next content farm video. And she feels like her ego got bruised by someone being like, who are you? And no. I think the fact that Jellie called her like some random person really bruised her ego and her savior complex. And so she starts to turn a little bit here. She says, I would ask you not to be so rude and disrespectful to people coming to try and help you in the future. I am your senior, and I have helped many kids over the past couple of years now with situations like this. I don't even know this Miles person. I heard about it from your document. Yeah, there's that I am your senior. You will respect me. I am your senior. I have helped many kids. No, you haven't, Peaches. You really haven't. God damn it. I have to try to keep track of where I was so I don't lose anything. Here we go. So Jellie says, also I doubt this is going to last until Sunday. I gave Miles an ultimatum earlier to tell her parents or I call Cyber Tipline, which that ultimatum doesn't really make any sense in hindsight. Because, like, if you genuinely believe that they committed a crime, why would you wait until, like, you should tell your parents that you committed a crime before I tell the police that I made a crime, or that you made a crime. And also, what if this was the case, right? If the reason why Jellie hasn't called a cyber tip line yet is because of this ultimatum, god damn it, I can't talk. It's been a while. It's been like 6 hours. Why would she then go on Twitter and be like, I'm not calling the cyber tip line because they're racist? Why would she use that excuse at all in this? Why would that even be a factor, right? But anyway, she says this, you know, tell her parents or I call the cyber tip line. And then Peaches just responds, do it now then. Which to me comes across as like, okay, then fucking do it. Right? If you think you're so smart, if you think you don't need my help, the Hopeless Peaches, then just do it now. You know, what's holding you back? Anyway. I don't know why she would say do it now. It is very aggressive. So something here is like skipped. Oh shit. I missed something because I'm a dummy. What did I miss? Shit, did I forget the screenshot about blackmail? Damn. I did, didn't I? No way, how's it not in? Actually, no, okay, yeah. No, I was right. Sorry. I was wrong. It's just that something gets skipped up here that we don't get to see. Anyway. There was a response here that they just didn't screenshot for what... Maybe they thought they did, but this name blocks it. Okay. Depending on the cyber tip line, they would throw the case away, and that goes for most cyber tip line. Well, I mean, yeah, because there really is no... They'd probably turn them away and be like, there's no evidence here. Sorry that you feel that way, but maybe get off... They probably just advise the teen to get off the internet and tell their parents, which is like the last thing that Jellie wants to do. You know? They claim that like, oh, my mom knows about this already, but do they? Do they really? If they know about this and think it's bad and are still allowing you to just be online publicly and interacting with anybody you want, that's a red flag for negligible parents, if anything. I don't think that their parents are actually aware of this. Anyway, Hopeless Peaches says, I would like to speak to them too now, considering you admitted to blackmail here, referring to them saying, referring to the ultimatum. Which honestly isn't blackmail. That's not what blackmail is. Actually, we should double check ourselves. Always double check. Alright, blackmailing. Demanding money or another benefit from someone in return for not receiving, compromising, or damaging information about them. Or force somebody to do something by using threats or manipulating their feelings. He had blackmailed her into sailing with him. So, I mean, if you squint your eyes hard enough, you could look at that as blackmail. But in reality, what is Jellie asking Miles to do? Like, you tell your parents about what you've been doing online, or I'm going to call the police. I don't know if that would necessarily be blackmail in this case. I just don't know why Peaches would immediately default to just calling it blackmail. Anyway, Jellie says, I'm not blackmailing anyone with anything. The only reason I haven't called yet is because some of the other victims are concerned with their parents knowing social consequences, etc. Social consequences? From calling the cyber tip line? What social consequences? The fact that you don't have enough evidence and that would be scrutinized? Sorry, I have to press the cough button. I have to cough. 1 second. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that. It's basically waving a house key in front of them to intimidate him to do something, or else they will break in is the analysis. I guess? I don't know. I haven't really seen that many, like, examples of good, like, I haven't seen that many good examples of blackmail is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I mean, for her to just assume that that's immediately blackmail, I don't know about that. And then just being like, considering now, her saying, I would like to speak to them too now, considering you admitted to blackmail. Like, that's her being like, okay, this has escalated because you took it to a bad place. And it's kind of weird that Peaches isn't actually engaging Oh, hey, Squeef. I'd get her point if it was in defense of the anonymous people, even if strong evidence should still be provided for the anonymous people. But an anonymous tip line? Yeah. It's an anonymous tip line. Like, it's not much of a blackmail if she's already done her part of the blackmail, right? Like, do this, or usually blackmails do this, and I will tell everybody about what you did, you know, whether it's true or not. But she already did that. She's already done that. The reason Peaches jumped to blackmail is for the same reason she called you a zoophile, pal. She doesn't have a rational bone in her body, nor an IQ. Yeah, no. That was from, she just immediately assumed I was friends with a zoophile just because I was even daring to even give Vlad the time of day or criticize his content. So, yeah, and I was called a sexual deviant over it, but whatever. It was one subtweet. That's the only. I mean, those are the only two interactions I've had with Peaches. Is the one time she came into my stream accusing me of associating with a zoophile and then immediately dipping without explaining anything, and then going to subtweet about me being a sexual degenerate. Sorry. But that's the only two experiences I have personally with Peaches. Other than that, not so much. It's kind of funny though. uh but yeah. Oh, well, what I was going to say is I find it interesting that Peaches isn't even willing to engage with Jellie in an actual conversation about the evidence or about the contents of the evidence or even point out exactly what's wrong with it. Like she just instantly goes into trying to get this kid to get into a badger call with her, which is just one of her many, many traits that she does. I mean, the excuse that Peaches gives of like, oh, well, I wanted to get into a call because I just can't convey my tone right through text, and it just makes things so much easier. But in reality, anytime she gets into a call with somebody, it's usually a badgering call with like her and like three other people there to gang up on one person and make them feel shitty about themselves. Aren't you asexual though? I know, right? I don't expect Peaches to have known that, but yeah, I'm asexual. I've never been interested in sex, nor like having sex with anybody. Okay, that's a lie. I've been interested in sex, whether that's like sexual fantasies or sexual fetishes, but I cannot and refuse to like see myself in sexual engagement with people. I don't like the idea of myself having sex with anyone or anyone having sex with me. That's what makes me asexual. By my definition, and I think that's a good enough definition. Peaches needs to learn to speak with her chest, not her stomach. I don't know what you mean by that. If you're trying to make a joke that she's overweight, I don't want to make fun of that because she is actively losing weight. I think to make fun of somebody like for being fat when they're actively trying to fix being overweight, I think that's, that's pushing it a lot. So, I don't think you can criticize somebody for a problem that they're actively trying to fix. That's like going up to somebody who is in the middle of fixing their car and just being like, "You should really fix this car. I think you're neglecting your car, dude. Like your car looks like trash. Why is it so broken?" It doesn't make any sense. I found out I'm a very specific kind of sexual and I immediately forgot the name of it. Gynosexual? Like a girl thing. It's impossible for me to be a sexual. I mean, if anything, I could be a voyeurist, I suppose. I like to imagine fictional characters having sex, but that's about the extent of it. You should only treat people equal to how they treat you, Enlaa. I mean, fair enough, but I like to think that I don't know. It's part of my philosophy of be better than they, you know. I don't like to stoop to people's level if I don't have to. There are times where I will get petty, but that's just because I'm mad or angry, you know? But I understand the idea of matching somebody's tone. I understand where you get that mindset from, and I don't really necessarily judge people for doing it if the other person that they're disrespecting actually deserved it. I just personally don't ascribe to that. Anyway, sorry, we got really off topic. He just responds. Again, she's not actually engaging in this debate with them. She's just mad that this person refused. And this is a big pattern I've noticed for Peaches. She gets very, very offended when people don't want to get into a call with her or get into one of their badger calls. She just immediately assumes that that means they're guilty or that there's a coward or bad. I don't know what it is about her that gets so offended that people don't want to have calls with her. But if people are constantly like, no thanks, Peaches, I don't want to have a call with you, maybe she should start wondering why people don't want to have calls with her. And I think I know why. It's because people don't feel like being badgered over shit that doesn't matter. Ref, maybe you guys could like, I used to be being better than they, but I got used a lot for it and stopped. I mean, that's fair. I think right now I'm trying to find that balance between being respectful and then being a pushover. So, and I know that there's a lot of things that I feel like I roll over way too much for. Like, for instance, in my interview with Gilded, I feel like I didn't push enough on a lot of the conversations we were having. I feel like I do roll over a lot where I'm just like, you know what, you make some good points. Okay, let's move on, you know, because I'm not typically one to want to argue with people to the point where it makes them mad. But if I'm going to be making content like this, I'm going to have to get used to it if I want to stick to my own beliefs. But also, it's that fear of, like, angering people or making people think less of me. It's an ego thing at the end of the day. But yeah, that's one thing I know I have an issue with, is where sometimes I don't push enough. And that's usually just because I don't feel like getting into it. You know? Ugh. Anyway, with all that in mind, and knowing that Peach's ego is a bit bruised here, she says, I hope when you're older you'll understand the mistakes here, but I'm not your mother, so I will see this as a dead end. Speak to your parents tonight about what you posted online. It's just like being like, alright then, we're done here. I hope you learn from your mistakes. And Jellie says, my mom already knows, thank you, but I kind of doubt that. Either they don't know or they're negligible parents, which is sad. And again, I'd advise you to not play God with me, you are not a savior. Yeah, probably some of the better straightforward advice for Peaches, in my opinion. One of the first things Peaches ever said to me was to call me a fat neckbeard. She's a toad. Fair enough. You know? And I can see that as her being hypocritical and you just tone matching. What is what is it? What was it again? What did you say? Gynosexual? What does that mean? I know gyno is like related to females or something, right? So is it like what, you're only attracted to women? I don't know what that means. You shouldn't have to worry about being pushed because they know that impact is going to happen. Wait, what do you wish you pushed back on? I was hoping for more pushback too. It's hard to specify in the moment, but there were a lot of points where I was listening back to that interview and you would say something and then I'd kind of just be like, yeah, or, oh, I see what you mean. And then, you know, after the fact, I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense because, you know, blah, 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 you know? But in the moment, I don't know, I didn't really want to rock the boat, I guess? I don't know. I can't think of any specifics right now. I'd have to go over it deeper, but I don't really feel like I want to. Dino is attracted to feminine features. I see. No matter what gender. Ah. I mean, kinda? I'm thinking about what I'm attracted to, but I'm not really attracted to anything specific. I'm more attracted to people's personality, and then their personality is what makes them hot to me. Like if someone has, I'm literally attracted to a small skeleton that doesn't exist, so anything can make someone hot if I'm attracted to their personality. Yeah, I know, Gilded. I know that. But to be fair, I didn't really know you very well, and I was also incredibly nervous at the time. Um, because the up until that point, the only interactions I had with you personally was you being annoyed at my initial reaction to your video, which is fair because I didn't give it as great of a shake as I should have, and I skipped a lot of it. But I was kind of intimidated at the time, so maybe I was just trying to, I don't know, placate. But I still liked the interview and how it came out overall. And it was my first interview with somebody that I didn't know. So there's a lot of factors in it. But you would have had to go full peaches. Oh yeah, I understand that. That's fair. Anyway, sorry, I keep that's the end of their discussions. And don't play God with me, you're not a savior. And honestly, they're right. That's exactly what Peaches tried to do. Whether she specifically intended for that, like, I don't know if she ever goes into these interactions being like, I'm going to play God with this person, but she definitely has that sort of ego about her, whether she recognizes it or not. I don't know if she's willing to recognize it. That's the thing. Um, hmm. What else have I got? I have to make sure everything is in order here. So, So, of course, Leo started, arguing with people on Twitter. Um, and, Jellie just making a lot of, like, unnecessary comments about Peaches as well and being needlessly aggressive. But that's pretty typical for a mean girl kind of high school drama teen. But, I won't show those screenshots. I didn't, I don't have them saved here, but they were trying to, like, get into their Discord. Um, And then when somebody said, like, when Leo was like, hey, is Miles here? And they said, no, Miles isn't here anymore. Leo immediately asks, oh, do you have any of their IRL info? Which is a weird thing to ask. And, you know what? To Leo's credit, I will say he did apologize for making this comment, recently. I don't think I remembered. No, actually I did. Hold on. I did get the tweet, didn't I? I screenshotted it. I must have. But I did see that he did apologize for immediately jumping to asking for somebody's IRL information, and he did end up recognizing that it was inappropriate. Um, damn it. I don't think I have it. Do I? Don't I? I don't know. No, I don't have it. Maybe I could find it real quick. But if you look through his Twitter, you'll find that he does apologize for it and recognizes that it was inappropriate, so I can give him credit for that. Me and Gilded have spoken, I know now, and I know he finds me annoying. Yeah. Also, I just realized Peaches is sliding into the DMs of a black person to LARPing as a white I fucking hate that argument because how can you prove that Peaches knew at the time that she was black? I didn't even know that this person was black until she started, like, making tweets about being black. He apologized because he got caught? I mean, true, but if that was the case, wouldn't he apologize for all the other times that he's, like, tried to get and got the IRL information of a minor? You know? But anyway, here was his original justification. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt on that one. I think he's just used to... Again, and this is the same thing I said about Pondra Sprocket when she was on a live stream and she was like, can someone get this kid's fucking phone number so I can call her parents? Like, I think they're just used to like getting what they want in this case, and then everyone just trusting them to know what to do with that information. I think that over time they've started to lose the idea of like the recognition of how inappropriate that may seem coming from them, but because they know themselves, they think, oh, well, it's natural that I will be responsible with that information, so there's no way that people should mistrust me with that information because I am reliable, you know? Hi, legendary 3D gamer. Anyway, this was his original justification for going in and asking for IRL information. The way to see everything was a joke. God damn it, Gilded! Maybe you need to use tone indicators. Jesus. We'll get into the tone indicators later. But Leo says, I asked if they had it because the kid may have tried to hurt themselves over the doc you made. Time is a factor. You can put that on me, not Peaches. And fair enough, at least he's not trying to throw Peaches under the bus. I can give him credit for that. But Peaches is still culpable here for the behavior that she had. But two things I kind of got from this. First of all, it's not up to you, just some random person on the internet, to save this child's life, okay? Again, you're not going to be a savior, you're not going to be a hero, alright? Relax. And it's not your responsibility what this teenager does or doesn't do. Man, that was Jay. That Jay was so Circe. Yeah, we'll get into the tone indicators in a small bit here. I want to try focusing on one thing at a time. But the second thing I got from this, which really, 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 really bothers me, right, is that he's kind of putting, like, this kid's life on the doc maker's shoulders. Like, insinuating that if they hurt themselves, it will be because of the document that you made. And here's the reason why I think this is so hypocritical of Leo to do, and I don't think he realizes it, but the reason why this bothers me is because he and Peaches went so hard against Nyx the Shield. Again, I know I keep bringing this up, but it's relevant. They went so hard on Nyx the Shield and Jackie Animations for even insinuating that harm may happen to them because of accusations like this. And they called that, I mean, in their words, suicide baiting, even though really it'd be threatening suicide. But they mocked, like, when Nyx the Shield was, like, saying stuff like, Jackie's important to me, I don't know, and she's in a bad place right now. I don't know what I would do if something happened to her. Just basically stressed out, and both of them being incredibly stressed, and Nyx being afraid that Jackie might hurt herself. Can I request? It depends on what you're requesting, my guy. But anyway, and Peach and Leo took that and just completely drove it into the ground and been like, this is malicious suicide threatening, trying to intimidate a victim into silence. But here they are doing the exact same thing of putting putting the accused's life in the hands of the accusers. Maybe more subtly, sure, but doing essentially the same thing. But it's okay when they do it, but not somebody else who is actively being accused of something. You know? Yeah, no. Yeah, you're out of here. Unless that was a joke. Unless that was a joke. No. /J. Were you /J or /Circe? Legendary. But no, you cannot recommend your channel. We're not doing self-promo. I don't know. I don't know if they're real or not. I guess we'll find out. I doubt they're real. Just time them out for a small bit of time if you can. I don't like outright banning people unless I have to. Just hide their messages, I guess. No jokes allowed! Yeah, Gilded. You tell him. We all know that Gilded is the joke police here. He doesn't like any jokes. But yeah, those are the two problems I really have with his initial excuse for this. I don't know why people have a problem with self-promotion, because there's a time and place for it, and this is not the time and place for it. and I don't know you, I don't know your content. And if you're only coming in here for the purpose of self-promotion, and yeah, please do that. Because if they're only coming in here for the purpose of self-promotion and not to actually engage with my content, then there's no point in you being here. So, just time them out. They don't have to be banned. Anyway, that was the tweet that Leo made that particularly bothered me. It happens, especially with smaller streamers. Like myself. But yeah, that was, But again, he did end up, like, whether or not it's because he was called out for it or not, and that's, like, whether or not it's because he got caught, I can at least give him a little bit of credit for at least making an attempt to apologize for it and recognizing it was inappropriate. So, I mean, that's not what Peaches did, though. At least Leo tried to take some responsibility, because instead Peaches immediately goes to the victim card. You know, at least Leo tried to justify and, like, try to at least argue his side or his mindset, whether it's true or not. But Peaches immediately just goes into, you know, victimizing herself. So I think she's screenshotted a bit of her original yes, this is part of her original response on her alternate account. And I think for some reason she screenshotted it and then put it on her HopelessPeaches account, which makes very little sense to me. And I'll go into why in a second. But part of her answer on her other account. Yo, my screenshot. Yeah, I sent this to like Kumo as well. I mean, to be fair, this screenshot has been making the rounds on Twitter from other people as well. But it's good that you caught it, because otherwise I wouldn't have this screenshot. I don't necessarily think it's the self promo is bad because it's a serious topic. I just think it's inappropriate because, you know, it's just not very polite. It's not very polite to do for other streamers, you know? I don't think any streamer would like it if you just randomly came in, not engaged with their content, and just said, hey, check out my channel instead, you know? I think it's inappropriate for that reason, not because this is like a serious topic. It is a serious topic, but that's not why it's inappropriate. Anyway, in her other response, in the screenshot, it says, so the kid being dragged through the dust changed their mind about wanting help. So I just see all this shit. This kid's been called a pedo, and now I'm being smeared as some harmer of children, and I honestly fucking give up. I failed, and I'd rather be fucking dead. Don't DM me. And then she screenshotted this and posted it on her HopelessPeaches her main account, which I find to be odd for reasons I'll say in a second, but she says, there, you can quit telling me to kill myself now and implying I love harming kids for clout. I'm not covering shit. I'm not touching serious topics again because I never fucking help anyway. And, well, I mean, you know. Obviously, this is just... Yeah, I want to say it's possibly just an emotional moment, but there is something very particularly manipulative about it. Because she took the time to screenshot this part and then post it on her main account, which is purely for promotional stuff, like promoting her friends or promoting her own videos, like her official account. This isn't the account that she uses for her unfiltered opinions or thoughts, right? This is for her official stuff. And she still decided to, like, not only did she post it once, but then she posted it twice. And then doubled down on it on her main account. You could say that this is, like, erratic, and it doesn't make any sense because it's irrational, and that's a fair assumption to make. I just find it a tad emotionally manipulative as well. And the fact that this is a pattern for her, I feel like she's failed, or at least refuses to recognize that this is a pattern of behavior for her. That she if she knows that she continues to do this, then she's not in a good position to be, like, in a public figure space right now. Again, that's just me giving her at least some benefit of the doubt. So she goes quiet for a day and a half or so and protects her, puts her, I keep forgetting what to call it, private account, I guess, her second account on lockdown. Peaches having a mental breakdown on Twitter again. To be fair, it was relatively short this time around, as far as we know. Other things may have been deleted. Who knows? Sugarcoating it? Yeah, I guess you could say I'm sugarcoating it. Whatever. I'm just trying to see it purely for what it is and what it looks like to me. But what makes this amazing, like, I thought that maybe at least she would come back with some kind of statement and maybe try to explain her actions a little bit and say, like, maybe I got ahead of myself, guys, and what I did was inappropriate and wrong, and I promise not to do it again, and I'll learn from my actions, blah, blah, blah. But what's amazing is that she doesn't even do that, right? When she comes back, she starts with this. She starts with, I was being fucking cringe yesterday. Apologies for that. Sorry, I was a little bit goofy. I was a little bit silly. This isn't a dismissive tweet, by the way. This is me just like, bruh. So, this isn't me dismissing it. I'm just making it light, I guess, by saying, bruh. That's not dismissive, I guess. She says this isn't a dismissive tweet, but then doesn't address what she's being criticized for, necessarily. She is blatantly manipulative. This is all on purpose and intentionally so, with full self-awareness. If it was, I feel like she would, like, double, triple, quadruple down and just do it for, like, an entire day or something, right? I missed this tweet, bruh. Well, that's why I'm here. This is why I decided to wait for a couple of days, because I knew some more stuff would probably come out. This is why I decided not to jump on it right away. That's not a knock on you, by the way. That's a knock towards, like, everybody, including the Zay person, who we will get to, by the way, and Omnia. Anyway, I had a fear my drama would start again. Then my dumbass can't communicate via text. Does anyone have resources on how to convey tone through text? Help me, guys. I'm just so helpless. Someone says, first of all, what did you do that was cringe? What did you do that it was cringe? Because, again, she just doesn't say it. She doesn't actually address what she did at all until people start asking about it. Anyway, and she really, really, really dumbs it down. And she does this a lot. She has a habit of doing this. No, I know, North. I know. It wasn't a knock towards you. Like, I wasn't criticizing you when I said that. I meant other people, not you. I mean, you only did yours like a day before mine. That's not jumping on it. I promise. I was just being a little silly, guys. I got too silly. We don't know that she didn't do it for an entire day because we don't know what she said while her count. That's true. That's true. But I have a feeling people would have, like, made attempts to screenshot it. Even, like, because there are definitely people that follow her that just track her movements and don't like her and shit like that. That would have been able to, like, expose information or something like that. But as far as I know, nothing else has, like, come out that she's deleted, you know? So I'm willing to bet that there wasn't anything. You're just goofing around. We'll get into tone indicators. I mean, we're starting to get into it. I've expressed before why I personally don't use them and why I personally don't like them, but we'll get into that in a second. But here's how Peaches describes the situation to somebody who doesn't know what's going on. She says, tried to help somebody, came off as aggressive as it was through text, then got stressed because Twitter is wild. That's it. That's all she... I mean, maybe I had another tweet where she... Okay, she does go into it a bit later, but she's very, very intentionally vague about the details of what happened, and she does this a lot. If there's an argument between her and another person on Twitter, and they both say things that are out of pocket, like she might say something that's out of pocket, and then the other person takes that too seriously, she'll go and describe the situation as, I was telling somebody, I was, like, simply disagreeing with somebody, and they got all creepy and obsessive with me. It's like she always downplays her involvement in whatever drama she's gotten into. I'm so sorry. I mean, either it's all intentional manipulation or she is entirely unstable and should just. What? DFE? Don't fucking ever? I don't know. I don't know what DFE means. Unless that was a typo and you meant die, in which I disagree. But, I do think that maybe she should stay off the internet and focus on her mental stability first, and not continue trying to place herself as a martyr figure. But yeah, that's how she really downplays the situation. It's not that she, acted really irrationally and was trying to use the situation to make a video or anything, or was really trying to strong arm this minor into, like, doing things the way she wants them to do it. Delete fucking everything. That's true. Maybe she should. But only. I'm saying that because. Not because. I don't know. I'm not going to speak on that. But maybe that would be a good thing to do. But here's the thing. If this is her, if this job is her main source of revenue right now, it's hard to just essentially ask somebody to fire themselves, even if you think it's deserved. You know? And I get it's like, well, she should just find a job. I mean, that's true. She should just find a job. But as we've seen, I don't think right now she's mentally or emotionally stable enough to, like, hold a real life job. Just like a vulnerable narcissism. Yeah, I think they call that either it's covert narcissism or petulant narcissism. It was one of those. I think it was petulant narcissism. Maybe. I could be using that term wrong. I'm not saying that's what she is, but she definitely, like, exhibits a lot of those traits. Oh god, Boogie. Yeah, Boogie does a lot of that as well. Sort of this self-deprecating, but also secretly feel bad for me kind of humor. Oh, she has a job? Well then fuck, she just fucking delete everything. Her income is not unstable, like, she's fine. I feel like if she was actually concerned about her own mental health, or, like, wanting to improve herself at all, she would. Just cuz. I think it'd be better for her. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I want what's best for Hopeless Peaches, or I want her. I really hope that her mental health gets. I don't fucking care. I just think that's my if I had to give her some advice, fucking delete everything. Get off, get off social media for a couple of, for a year at least. And focus on, like, improving your mental health. Because she's in a place right now where she's reactive to fucking everything. And this is based. This is giving her the benefit of. This is my. Okay, fuck. This is my opinion based on me giving her the benefit of the doubt that she's not just making it all up. And it really is just her being very emotionally and mentally unstable and not being self-aware enough to recognize her own behavioral patterns. She should get off the internet for her own sake if she's truly concerned about her own mental health. If it's all true, and if she's not, lying. Right? That would be my advice. People like Peaches and Boogie intentionally play the victim and make up entire victimhood stories specifically for the attention. I mean, yes, that can happen, but yeah. I feel like a broken record if I keep saying I won't speculate on it, but yeah. Just me being a broken record again. And okay, sorry. We'll continue with this. So the conversation continues a little bit. And she said, I am blunt when I text. Also when I speak, but my voice can show tone when I'm not tired. I don't know what you being tired has to do with any of it, but L Little says, did you apologize to that person? She says, been unable to, and it ended in that group calling me a predator enabler and trying to IP grab me, as well as digging for images of me. Sometimes you have to cut your losses instead of digging your heels in. And the thing is that I don't know about the IP grabbing, but they were digging up images of her to mock her and make fun of her. So that part is true that people were doing that. But she still fails to understand why people were upset and just assumes that it was for no good reason and that they just misunderstood, you know? And then when she says sometimes you have to cut your losses instead of digging your heels in, I I don't know. She does when she feels like she has nothing to stand on, she won't dig her heels in, but I don't know. I don't know Peaches enough to speak on that, but it does kind of feel like she's inserting post hindsight insight and trying to make it out like that's what she was doing and not just running away from backlash and consequences. Like, oh, it wasn't running away, it was a tactful retreat. That sort of thing. Yeah, they were publishing phishing links and stuff like that. Teenagers are nuts on Twitter, man. So I don't blame her for wanting to kind of avoid that, but it doesn't mean that she can just avoid her responsibility in all this altogether. I mean, she definitely has narcissistic traits, but it's not up to me to decide if she's actually a narcissist or not. She'd have to get evaluated for that. And then she'd have to admit it and show the paperwork for it, I guess, but she doesn't have to do any of that. I know, Gilded, don't worry. It'd be fun to speculate on something like that, but it wouldn't be very responsible of me. But she does have her head up her own ass, to be sure. But, yeah. But this continues where she is kind of like asking around like, oh my god, my tone. It was the tone indicators, guys. And she's asking for like guides on tone indicators and like, oh right, tone indicators, right. I totally forgot what those are. I won't lie, I think I've forgotten them because I didn't realize how bad my tone is until lately. Thanks /G, which I think is genuine, right? I love how she immediately ends it off with the /G. Like, oh yeah, guys, I'm totally gonna use these from now on because that was the problem the whole time. I said this in North Stream, but she was like, that's the tone indicators was basically her kryptonite this whole time. We didn't realize it until now. All of her drama, all of her incidents, all of the controversy, it wasn't because of her actions or behavior. It's because her tone was bad. Oh, Gildan and I were speculating a little bit in DMs a couple months back that Peaches may have like some form of BPD, maybe, but again, that's just baseless speculation, just based on behavior. We were just pointing out that she has traits similar to BPD. She didn't even use Gen right. I mean, I don't think... How much you want to bet she's going to drop the tone indicator thing and only use it for when she gets criticized for her behavior? Watch your tone, motherfucker. OMG, I changed, guys. See? That fixes things now. It also begs the question... Pray tell, how? Like, if tone really was the issue here, how are you supposed to what tone are you supposed to read these in, right? Like, are you supposed to read this as happy, as sad, as angry, as /not mad? Like, that doesn't fix it, because it's not so much about tone as it is about word choice. Because I may have read it in a very sassy and demanding tone at times, but it's all about the word choice. It's about what you say, not how you say it. I mean, how you, like, what words you use definitely matters. And I think the things that she decided to say matter way more than the tone. I don't think if she put a /G at the end of this statement, it would have changed how it came out at all. You know what I mean? And I think she's definitely using the tone indicators as a cop-out. Like, 100%. Because she doesn't want to see herself as being part of the problem. She doesn't want to see it as like, oh, it's not my behavior and my actions and the things that I said. It's just that they didn't understand how nice I was being to them. I was being so nice and thoughtful, and they just didn't understand me. I'm so misunderstood and quirky, guys. No, Peaches. It's not the lack of tone indicators. It's the lack of personal responsibility and accountability for what you say. It's because you thought that you could get away with acting like that to somebody, and people wouldn't call you out on it because you're hopeless peaches. And you've gotten away with acting like this for a very long time. I have BPD as well, but if Peaches has BPD as well, it does explain her behavior to an extent. But I think they were a bit disorganized. Just making sure I covered all my bases. Oh yeah, just oh yeah, there was more of Courtney. And just I wanted to kind of elaborate or really emphasize like how much they know the evidence doesn't stand very well because they have to get so aggressively defensive about it. And we kind of covered this, but you know, just to get all my screenshots out of the way. Um and it kind of just proves how like not equipped they are to deal with a situation like this. She says, "This doc is so ass. We have exams. We are in high school. We have social lives." Also, you know what? I'm just now noticing that she says, "We're in high school." I'm sorry, wasn't the whole, like... Wasn't Courtney one of the ones really trying to emphasize, like, Miles is a high schooler sexually going after a middle schooler, but now she's in high school all of a sudden? Her age didn't change. She's still 14, but now she's no longer in middle school. She's in high school now? What? So, that's confusing. A little telling. It feels like they only assert certain things about themselves to, you know, push off certain narratives. So I didn't catch that until just now. Why would she say here that she's in high school when she's been trying to push that Miles was trying to sex her when she's a middle schooler? So that's interesting. I don't think it's too prudent to scrutinize it that much, but... And this is her response to her saying, "I don't know who you are, but this isn't grooming and or pedophilia. This shit hurts victims and muddies the water for actual allegations in the future. You're an idiot." Little aggressive, considering her age, but Courtney responds, "Okay, yeah, no. Grooming isn't age-locked. Miles was 16 and 17. Somehow they magically became both ages. And I was 13 and 14. She grew a friendship with me just to, as soon as I turned 14, get sexual. And that isn't grooming? No, it's not. A 17-year-old being... Because first of all, you didn't even prove that happened. A 17-year-old being attracted to a 13 and 14-year-old... Actually, he was 16, not 17. So, again, she's trying to make the gap much wider here by now trying to imply that she was 17 when all this happened, when she was actually, like, in the middle of being 16. Oh yeah, Zay jumping in, we'll get to that. But again, I wanted to cover all my screenshots. And maybe it's a little superfluous, but I thought they were interesting to dissect a little bit. Just to show that they're not exactly reliable narrators, and they're, again, not mentally or emotionally equipped to handle this. They're not exactly squeaky clean people themselves. You guys clearly don't know the definition. Oh yeah, this is why I screenshot this. Pedophilia is an adult or older adolescent, a 17-year-old, being attracted to children. And the definition of grooming is someone building a bond with younger people to take advantage. Hey, NDG. Hi again. Salut, salut, salut. I don't remember how to say how are you. Fuck, I don't remember any of my French. Anyway, sorry. But yeah, no, this just goes to show that the people that are accusing Miles of these things don't actually understand what pedophilia is. We've gone over this before, but just to speedrun it real quick, pedophilia is when someone is attracted to prepubescent children, and that is typically below the age of 11 or 10. So, people that are not teenagers. And I don't want to get into, like, it's actually ebophilia or hebophilia. It doesn't fucking matter, because it's not pedophilia. That's the part that matters to me. It's just a teenager being attracted to other teenagers. It's not pedophilia. And if you want to call it grooming, you have to prove the intent to groom, which they haven't. Nobody uses the word pedophilia correctly. I know, but I don't think pedophile would be appropriate to use in this context, would you? Because it's just, again, like Sweet is saying, it's just being used as a buzzword to make it look worse than it really is. I'm sure that Courtney genuinely believes that it's pedophilia, but if that's the case, then she would also be a pedophile just for being attracted to someone her own age, if that were the case. You know? Because when does an adolescent go from being a younger adolescent to an older adolescent? Like, what age does it happen? In this context, it makes even less sense than the way it's normally used wrong. Well, yeah, exactly. It is possible that adolescents can be pedophilic, but that's if they're, like, trying to get with, again, people under the age of 10, or their, little sisters, or things like that. It does happen, but this is just not an example of it. It's so frustrating that people throw around pedo as a buzzword to destroy people they don't like. Yeah, exactly. And that's what it's being used for in this context. And this is like her just not understanding what pedophilia actually is. And then being so sure of her own misunderstanding. I mean, this is why I don't think that, like, Courtney and Jellie specifically are being liars. I think that they're just insanely misinformed and then also insanely stubborn because they're dumb teens who don't know any better in this situation. They know just enough to try and assert themselves, but they don't actually know what they're talking about. I just find it funny that a lot of Jellie's evidence against Miles actually implicates herself and incriminates herself more if the logic were applied to her. And this is definitely something that will affect them, and that's hard. It's a tough pill to swallow. I feel bad that it couldn't have been intervened sooner, like all of this snowballing. But sometimes you can't stop the ball once it's already rolling. I just hope that, like, this can be used as something that people can learn from. I know this isn't exactly going to save the current situation or make things better per se, or even rescue anybody. It's just what I think it is. My god, what would they have to do to be called a liar? They participated in a smear campaign with no evidence, made up false testimony, and have shown nothing but vitriol. Yeah, but just because you can believe something that's wrong, right? I have no reason to believe that she's outright maliciously lying. Right? I think that her being young probably genuinely believes this stuff and is just acting really emotionally with it. I don't know. I can't speak so much on Jellie's intentions, but I can't believe this kid is using insults and kill yourself as a point. That's bonkers. I mean, it's just pure ad hominem. It is what it is. Alright, that's the end of all my screenshots, so we can finally put that to bed. And I wanted to get on to Zay's video. But yeah, I think I will end this off, just saying, like, I don't think they're all liars, because they'll use that constantly as a point to dismiss arguments like, you just want to call victims liars, so that makes you a bad person, and you shouldn't be listened to. I don't think they're all liars. I think you can falsely and you can strongly believe a false thing you know, and then still be dumb about it. You know, believing something falsely and then spreading misinformation based on your own ignorance isn't the same as malicious lying. You know, you would have to prove that they knew that this shit is false, you know, 100% before spreading those lies. It might be the fact that they are finding out now that those things that they're misinformed and are just doubling down because they're stubborn teens. So, an argument could be made that now that they've been corrected, they should know better. But knowing them and how they're reacting, they're probably going to just double and triple down. I think her being jealous and helping writing a doc because they are jealous shows that they do not believe they were groomed. Yeah, I mean, I can see how you would feel that way. And there are times where I think, like, well, maybe are they lying? I don't know. But I think it really depends on what they do from here on out. Like, I don't know how many times somebody has to sit them down and be like, this isn't grooming, for them to, like, finally realize it's not grooming. But, you know, I think if they continue doubling and tripling and quadrupling down, then it could be turned into lying. But it's hard for me to believe that they went into this initially just full on lying and knowing that they're lying. It could, a part of it could be that they have convinced themselves that this is grooming and pedophilia and predatory behavior to make themselves feel better about acting this way. You know, personal justification and all that. I mean, it's definitely a motive, but I won't say for a fact whether or not that's the case because I don't know what's going on in their heads. We can only judge just based on their actions, and I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt as much as I can. But I'm leaning towards that it's willful ignorance at best. I'll say that. At best, it's willful ignorance. At worst, it's malicious lying. So, I'll say that at least. But yeah, I don't know what to cover first. I guess I'll do Zay's video first, and then I'll go and look for Omnia's tweet. Or she made a Twitter thread. You know, she literally said, like, well, now that, you know, people are talking about it, I want to talk about what Peaches did to me. But we'll get to that in a second. I think I will pull up the video that Rune sent me. And this is how I even found out about this situation in the first place. It's a very quiet video. Now it's a loud video. Okay, let me know if this is a good audio for you guys. So, of course, Zay, who has a chip on his shoulder, ran as fast as he could to release a video about this. Like, almost as soon as it happened. Like, on the day that it happened. So, we'll see how well planned or thought out this video is. I've seen this video already, so this isn't a first-hand, like a first blind reaction. I've seen this already, but I have a lot of things I wanted to point out and criticize about it. So, not so much a reaction as it is just, you know, reviewing it again. Hi, Mitzi. Sorry. When Mitzi wants pets, she gets pets. Hi. I know, today's a long day. I've been here for quite a while. This might be the longest stream I've done so far. It's split up into 2 videos, so I'll have to do the math later. Alright, let me know if you guys can see this okay. Cat, I know, right? Can I just say I love it when people just stare at their script instead of just memorizing bits and pieces and then presenting it to the camera? Wow, he's quiet. Can't hear the vid. Oh shit. Sorry. Is it just really quiet, or can you genuinely not hear it? Let me see. He's speaking facts, right? Oh, my shit's muted. What the fuck? I'm sorry, guys. He's speaking facts right now. You can speed that up and turn that into a meme for sure. Maybe put like the Thanos rapping sound over it. There's no okay. I think I fixed it. Here you go.
Hello everyone, my name is Zay.
Is that better?
And welcome to a new video. Happy holidays.
How's that?
Christmas has come early this year for me. Like I said in my most recent community post, I will be adhering to what I said in it, but don't you love as soon as I'm getting ready to go,
Sorry
the
about
elements bless me with just one more send-off to the entire art commentary
He
community.
speaks!
I love it. Today
He wasn't doing a mime routine, he actually talks.
Gotten themselves wrapped up in controversy once more for, wouldn't you know it, sticking their head in...
Oh my god, I have one audio hiccup and y'all make a big stink about it. Relax!
Places where they don't belong. But this time,
but also thank you for pointing it out.
HopelessPeaches is under fire for sympathy seeking, and now people are finally treating her like the person she is, a sympathy seeker. Don't you love how things have come full circle? I'm going to keep this short and sweet because, as you can see, I'm dolled up today because I'm going out to see a Broadway show, and I'm not in my everyday video comfortables that you usually see me in. Any and all compliments are very appreciated.
Is this
Anyways,
why is there like a filter he puts on these videos, or is like there's just something wrong with the output? I genuinely can't tell. Does he just put this weird filter on it? When he said, I felt that. Shut up.
Let's get into the video. Recently, a Twitter user, who I'm going to refrain from leaking in this video because I just don't think that the infighting within a community needs to be focalized in a video.
I do! But also, he says this, but then also ends up leaking their name later on anyway, which is pretty funny.
Essentially created a Google document.
It kind of just goes to show how much he rushed to get this out, like, on the day, because he barely proofread his own editing.
And calling a relatively popular Twitter user out for being incredibly creepy and womanizing towards several women online. The user in question, Miles, is 17 years old, and those who have come out with their stories pertaining to Miles range between the ages of 13 and 17. After reading the document...
Actually, it's 13 and 18, allegedly.
Myself, a lot of the claims being made towards Miles aren't necessarily substantiated. Some things Miles apologizes for, like with her being creepy towards women. Some allegations consist of grooming, which I'm not here to substantiate or even argue for.
Why? If you're taking the time to even mention it, you should probably do some research into what the actual accusations are. It's just basic due diligence. I mean, that's what I did. Not to, like, you know, put myself on a high horse or anything, but at least I did the right thing and just covered that shit first before diving into this. I feel like the document was juicier anyway.
All I can agree with is that the person is kind of a creep, but they're also a child.
I'm the last person to criticize that. Yeah, true.
As well as all of the other people involved, so any toxic behavior is really hard for me to criticize because these are all children kind of finding their way around the internet.
I mean, yes, you could say that, and I mean, I've kind of used that excuse from time to time as well here. But their age can only excuse so much. And so I think sometimes we kind of have to I mean, again, I was an autistic kid. So I was literally like a fucking monkey. And even I had better like sense of morality than most of these kids on Twitter.
I don't want to give my personal opinion on this entire thing on a deep level because, again, it includes a bunch of minors fighting on Twitter. And if you want to look into the situation, you can.
It's a lot more than just them fighting on Twitter, though. It's false, life-ruining accusations being levied against somebody with little to no evidence whatsoever. And then people just taking it at face value and then actively seeking out to ruin this kid's life. And chasing them off the internet. I think it's a little bit more than just kids fighting each other, because there's an actual victim here, and it's Miles. Without a doubt.
Yourself, but this is all you're going to get in terms of my coverage of it.
But why? I mean, I know he says later, especially like in the comments, oh hey, I have a comment here. Look at that. Don't look at that. I didn't see this video. What are you talking about? But, Jesus Christ. Everything's all over the place. Yeah, sorry, I keep losing my train of thought because I keep distracting myself. But it just goes to show, like, I know he says later that the only reason he made this video was for catharsis, and at on one hand, I can understand that, but it is not very, it's not a good look, I will say, to just be using something like this just to be like, aha, hi guys, I told you so, Peaches le bad.
This video isn't completely about Miles. It's about Hopeless Peaches'
It's not about Miles at all, actually.
egoism and opportunistic nature when it comes to covering online predators alongside Leo Convoy, as well as their conduct when it comes to covering the story and how they inadvertently put victims in danger. I don't like when internet vigilantes like Leo Convoy and Hopeless Peaches parade themselves around like they're verifiable and reputable sources to handle predators online, when neither of them have a track record at all for getting anyone behind bars.
No.
But they will make YouTube
I mean, you're right
videos
about that.
it though, and the dumbass art commentary community will eat it up. Because you can.
Now, for the record, I don't know a whole lot about this guy. I just know bits and pieces that I've read on Twitter with, like, no proof whatsoever. I just know that he had past drama with a bunch of these people, Omnia included, and, getting texts. Oh, I see. My dad's asking me if my place has hot water yet, but I'm busy. He's gonna have to wait until after I'm done. But, yeah, so I don't know much about this guy or his past drama with these people, but maybe Omnia's... I know she made a thread on it, and I kind of skimmed over it, but I'll go over her thread after this.
Could serve them shit, and they would have their spoons at the ready.
Should we put this on ×2 speed? It would make it go faster for sure. Fuck. Can't do options. Getting tired. We'll put it on 0.75.
Hopeless Peaches' DMs were leaked between them and this minor who made the initial call-out post against Miles, and let's just go over them, shall we? Hi, I'm going to be going over the DMs that Hopeless Peaches and this specific user have sent between each other in this segment of the video. I'm not going to do like an editing thing for it because I feel like there's just a lot of DMs and I don't want to take up my time making a...
Yeah, okay. So we'll put this on ×2 speed for sure because I've already gone through these DMs, so we don't need to go through them a second time.
Whole entire editing thing for fucking Hopeless Peaches, so we're just gonna go over them on video like this, and yeah, let's get started. Hopeless Peaches starts by saying, "Hello, I saw your document on Miles and would like to have a word with you. I know some of the people in the doc want to be anonymous,
so we'll just let him talk for a second."
Responds, "Why? I'm not going to release a video of an anon to randoms." Peaches responds, "I'm going to be making a video breaking down your document, as it is all slander with no proof. I want the information of the 18-year-old user because they are the most accountable for this document's release, and I think it's scummy of them to hide behind a 15-year-old. I would strongly advise you to take down your document, or do you just not want Miles to get shit for what she did? The document is full of false information that could cause genuine harm to people, both for yourself, the others mentioned, and Miles. Mind you, here's her admitting to closed case. Chloe being another victim that's listed in the document. I'd like to have a proper conversation with you to explain this if you'd like. I will have to make a video regardless, as this has been spread by men who do a very bad thing. If they cared, why did they make you make the doc and not them? And why are they anonymous? Nobody made me or coerced me to make the doc. It was my decision."
I think he is just reading it word for word, so he could skip bits and pieces of this.
Why I do that? I would like to speak to them too now, considering you admitted to speak to them too now, considering you... She blinks Miles' tag. I'm not going to be putting in this video because why would I do that? I would like to speak to them too now, considering you admitted to blackmail here. What? What? Anyways, I'm not blackmailing anyone with anything.
It's been a second. Be silent forever.
The only reason I haven't called yet is because some of the other victims are concerned with their parents knowing social consequence, etc. I hope when you're older, you'll understand the mistakes here. But I'm not your mother, so I will see this as a dead end. Speak to your parents tonight about what you've posted online. My mom already knows, thank you. And again, I'd advise you to not play God with me. You are not a savior. Okay, so I have quite a few issues about how Hopeless Peaches conducted herself here. For one, you came into the situation not even knowing what the fuck was going on, to the point that you assumed that this child was manipulated by adults to create this document. Two,
that's what I
for
said.
You to sit here and demand that somebody needs to speak to you as if you are the police and not some 23-year-old with no job in a YouTube channel is hilarious. No one needs to...
I think she does have a job, according to Gilded, that she's a waitress, which I'm willing to believe, because I think it's easier to believe that somebody has a minimum wage job than to believe that they have no job, and while also having a massive ego.
Speak to you about anything because nothing that you do on your channel actually helps victims, and you and Lio keep acting like you are. And side note,
true.
I wouldn't want someone who classifies themselves in Discord as being a spoiled brat to a nearly 40-year-old man to handle my trauma either, but that's just me being petty. 3.
I mean, that's just the whole, like, DDLG, or not even DDLG, but it's just their little weird thing that they got going on with Leo and Peaches.
Demanding that this minor take their post down and make an apology is incredibly invasive and intimidating, especially considering the fact that you said you would be making a video on it. It doesn't take rocket science to see how anyone on the receiving end of that message would view it negatively. You're essentially giving this minor an ultimatum. Just because you are saying that you strongly advise for them to do it, it does not mean that it isn't an act of coercion and intimidation. That minor is essentially believing now that if they don't listen to you, they will be blasted on video.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a point here, especially because she says, she really puts the emphasis on strongly, which could be implied as like coercion or even a threat if you really want to see it that way.
4. You claim that you're protecting this minor from any fallout, but why would they receive any sort of flack if you're protecting them from your video? So you know that this video is going to get this minor harassed, and instead of refraining from making the video altogether, you're telling this child what to do instead of removing any risk of their harassment completely. 5. You literally accuse a 15-year-old girl of blackmail.
Oh yeah, maybe I should give that disclaimer. Nobody needs to be harassed over this situation. Just let me make that blanket statement. Nobody needs to be, don't go and harass anyone mentioned in this video. Except me. You can come harass me all you want. Thank you. Have a nice day.
What the fuck? How are you going to directly tell her to call the cyber tip line, then directly after that accuse her to admitting to blackmail for contacting the cyber tip line? So you basically coerce her to admitting to blackmail according to your logic? You don't ask the minor for information, then use the information you learn from her against her. That's not what somebody who helps kids does. Like, I know you love infantilizing minors all the time, Hopeless Peaches, but these children, especially POC children, which this child is, she's black.
Yeah, okay, and here's where I have a problem. Here's where I started to have an issue with this video. It's been 7 hours? Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've done longer than 7 before, so we're still on record time. We're still keeping below the record time anyway. I think my longest was like 7.5. But it's that he immediately jumps into making it a race thing when there's no proof that it had anything to do with race whatsoever. I feel like Peaches would have done this to anybody, regardless of their race. She does this with anybody. It has nothing to do with her race. He's just throwing it in there because it makes it sound more egregious that she did this. Which I feel is really derailing the issue here that's actually at hand and just trying to make it out to be like, oh, well, Peaches is just racist. And trying to stand on this soapbox of POC children struggle so hard in this world of ours. Like, that's not relevant here. That has nothing to do with this. Literally nothing.
Are not stupid all the time and know what they need to do in these situations as well as who they need to contact. And you and Leo don't have—
Clearly they don't, because that's not what Jellie's doing. She doesn't know what she's doing, and she's not contacting the right people. She's actively withholding... She's actively holding back from contacting the right people until she gets what she wants from Miles, which I'm not even sure what that is exactly.
Have to play white savior any chance you get because you guys want to pretend and roleplay as cops and detectives on the internet. Also, dumbass, it's only blackmail if the victim stands to gain something from exposing the information. This child isn't looking to gain anything. They're giving the person a chance to come clean about what they did, or they take matters into their own hands. This is not foreign to any drama online. That's even—
what also bothered me, and this is why it bothers me that he doesn't actually attempt to address any of the issues in the original document, is because by describing it the way that he's describing it, it makes it sound like that he just instantly believes anything that these supposed victims have to say, even though he acknowledges that he hasn't done any research on what's going on outside of the Peaches stuff. They both didn't know. So yeah, how are other people just supposed to randomly come to that conclusion that this person is a black person when it's only a small snippet in their bio, apparently? Like, and most people don't go reading through her like, most people probably didn't even know that she was black until she started posting pictures of herself and that she started saying, it's because I'm black, you know? That's the only way people would have known. How is someone who's randomly coming into your DMs because of a random exposure document that doesn't even mention anywhere in the document about her being black, that now it's a race thing? That bothers me. Because it's clearly not, and they're just adding it in to make it, again, seem more violating or more of a social issue than it really is. And by him saying it like this, like, she's just trying to give exposure to these victims and trying to give them a voice. Is him explicitly, like, lending validation and credence to accusations that he doesn't even know are true or not. Which, as we've gone over hours ago, basically, that most, if not all, of the accusations in there are either unsubstantiated or just flat out not true. So the fact that he didn't go over this, it's pretty harmful because it lends validation to things that are just not true. And he's just being willfully ignorant just so he can get one up on Peaches.
even how some actual cases work. The accused is given the opportunity to come clean or an investigation is started. For someone who loves parading themselves around as someone who helps kids, the fact that you don't even know that goes to show how stupid and unequipped you and Leo are to be handling anything like this. And lastly, for you to sit here and tell someone you don't know to speak to their parents like you know them, or have any authority to tell them what to do at all just because you have 100,000 subscribers on YouTube is fucking ridiculous. Welcome to the real world, Hopeless Peaches, where outside of your brain dead community, people don't play into your main character syndrome. God.
I mean, he says that while also ignoring the fact that Jellie's doing the exact same thing, demanding that somebody talk to their own parents despite not really knowing them or really understanding the situation.
This is so cathartic. So much for arguing with kids, right, Peaches? Difference is, Oranges was 18. This little black girl you argued with is 15. Bonus points for tone policing the child because they were mean to you. They didn't want nor ask for your help. Now, does everyone finally see where I'm coming from when I say how weird these people are for butting themselves into shit that no one asked them to be part of and acting like they're helping? Peaches then blocked the victim because protecting minors only matters to her when they don't tell her no.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that Peaches did block Jellie.
Otherwise, she doesn't care. I've been saying that Peaches isn't reputable at all for a while now, so it feels great to finally have that validated. But let me relax on Hopeless Peaches for a bit and get to her daddy, Leo Convoy. I have a very up and down relationship with Leo Convoy, but one thing I've never filtered in my opinion in regards to him is that I do not agree with how he handles predators and drama online. I think it's sloppy, counterproductive, and reckless for anyone to think that justice
none
is
of us
calling some idiot
do.
who's dumb enough to subject themselves to joining your Discord server for an hour-long insult session and further uploading that content to your YouTube channel for views and money. Leo is under fire for quite a few other things, but I'm not going to get into them in this video. I'm only going to focus on what has come up since this entire situation has started. Both Hopeless Peaches and Leo, who have both proven to do absolutely fuck all.
Yeah, the document's under-equipped too, but he doesn't know that because he didn't bother to do any research into the original thing. And at least he admits that, but it doesn't really help it doesn't help his case all that much because he's just going into it with like pure, unadulterated ignorance just so that he can be snarky at Peaches, which is pretty immature and pretty irresponsible for somebody. I mean, even if it's only a 10K sub platform, that's still a decently big platform.
In regards to research about anything, opted to join a Discord server that they believe Miles to be in to get into contact with her. They both introduced themselves accordingly, not without letting it be known directly afterward what they wanted. Hey guys, I don't give a shit about your community. I just need to get into contact with this kid so I can use him for a video. But their opportunistic nature isn't even my issue here. My real issue is Leo Convoy, a nearly 40-year-old man, asking for the docs of a 17-year-old girl. Never mind the fact that I think it's ultimately weird and creepy for a man that's pushing 40 to be adopting random girls online, some of which
Again, and I know I addressed this, and I know that Leo did, you know, take some accountability for doing that. But it also just goes to show with how comfortable they are of just, like, blatantly contradicting themselves. Like I said before, ponder, you know, making a video how you shouldn't be asking for the doxes of minors, or shouldn't be asking for personal information of minors, but then also going a couple years later and doing the exact same thing. So
being grown adults, let alone flying them out to live with him, but if that wasn't weird enough, this sure as hell is. Hopeless Peaches introduces herself saying this. Hi, Hopeless Peaches here.
what's the Neo video? I'm not sure what that is.
23 years old. Any pronouns are fine. I wanted to just come and have some words about Miles. I know it's a hard topic, but I'd just like to have a conversation with anyone involved. I've worked on a few predation cases and want to help here with understanding, etc.
See, I don't see that there's too much of a problem with this, them just trying to introduce themselves. Like, this is definitely a better way of trying to involve, like, if you're going to try and involve yourself in this situation, this is probably the better way to do it. And look, she doesn't need any tone indicators to come off as polite here and respectful at the very least. I mean, it is a blatant lie that she's worked on predation cases because she hasn't. My bad, the Mint Heart call. Oh, that one. Yes, that one. Yeah. And that's stuff that we can skip because it doesn't have anything to do with this particular situation. And it's just in there for Zay to, you know, gloat some more. I see what you're, yeah. But I don't see any issues with her tone here. And she seems to be able to use emojis just fine. Twitter has emojis, I'm pretty sure, right? Or emoticons. You can't convey your tone that way. You just had to blame it on lack of tone indicators when you seem like you're doing a perfectly fine job here. Even if she is lying a little bit.
Hopeless Peaches has never worked on a predation case. Hopeless Peaches is not certified, and neither is Leo Convoy. You two are white people with a savior complex. It's giving creepshow art. Neither of these idiots have done anything legally to get a predator behind bars, and have definitely not directly worked with the police and are not police themselves. They are Discord vigilantes, and their presence, like any other Discord vigilante, ruins predation cases. I have another video on my channel about Jellie that goes into this exact topic. It is because of people like these two that predators get away with their crimes. If you're dealing with a predator in your community, go to the police and go to your parents. They will have more useful information and resources for you than some loser on the internet does, because neither of these stupid asses tell you that in order to get any of these people arrested, they would either have to commit a crime themselves and dox the predator in order to make the report, or do incredibly intricate social engineering in order to extract the personal information of who they deem to be predators.
True. They love to play all these weird games when all you really should have to do is just call the cyber tip hotline or whatever, the cyber tip line, or go to the police. That cat is vibing though. That cat do be vibing though.
And that doesn't even include the nuance of court, state laws, and procedures that go into getting.
That cat is like, this laptop is fucking warm, dude. I know because my cat does that all the time.
A criminal arrested. There's also the fact that if any of
that is an adorable cat. Little on the chunky side. Maybe he should lose a bit of weight. But to be fair, it is the winter.
Predators did surrender any identifying information, they could be lying about it because these crimes occur and continue to occur online under stupid online aliases. You spread awareness when proper legal action has been done. All these two dumbasses can say about themselves is that they wrote a report. News.
Honestly, he kind of makes a good point here. Hey, unless someone sent what looks like a scam message to your server. Oh, really? We should nip that in the bud if that happened. Oh yeah, that's not good. Right, I'll take care of that immediately. Get this person out of here. Alright, thanks for letting me know, dude. Thank you. Took care of that. Alright, thank you. Thank you, Squeef.
Newsflash, anyone can do that, dipshit. And if you're mad that other people aren't writing reports because you want to kiss your ass for even writing one, most people with 2 brain cells know that their involvement in an online predation case does more harm than good. Especially if they have no.
What I was going to say, right, is that he makes a good point here, at least, right? Is that oftentimes the sort of spreading awareness and goofing on the predator sort of stuff, more often than not, it very likely doesn't actually chase them off the internet or prevent them from harming more people. If anything, it just encourages them to go into hiding and do the preying on children more skillfully or more carefully. So I think that, in all honesty, probably making a giant stink about these things constantly just causes predators and pedophiles to be smarter and more careful with how they go about, preying on kids, rather than being so blatant about it. So he makes a good point that it's possibly making it a lot more dangerous rather than actually solving anything. Because if the goal was to educate and spread awareness of how kids are able to protect themselves, then they would be encouraging kids not to go to them about these things, not to make expose documents, but to go to the fucking police with this information and handle it privately, not make a big stink about it. Because I do think it does more harm than good in that sense. So he brings up a good point that I didn't really think about in that context before.
No direct relation to the victim and the abusers. Anyways, aside from my tangent, here's what Leo had to say. I'm Leo, 38, he, him. I like animation, but I really need to speak to Miles. After being told that Miles is no longer in the server, Leo responds with this that anyone in this child's personal life couldn't have done faster and more efficiently than you. And let's say that they did hurt themselves. What would having the victim
the hurting
hand
themselves
over their docs, right? This is Leo's justification for asking for it. I asked if they had it because the kid may have tried to hurt themselves over the doc you made. Time is a factor. You can put that on me, not Peaches. For one, this is an assumption. 2, what the fuck is Leo Convoy going to do for this kid? For all the time that you're sitting here arguing with randoms on Twitter about this and scrounging for information, the child could have hurt themselves already. Genuinely, what were you going to do that anyone in this child's personal life couldn't have done faster and more efficiently than you?
Yeah, I feel like it was just some dumb excuse Leo made up on the spot.
And let's say that they did hurt themselves. What would having the victim's personal information do to help, idiot? I'm not surprised that both you and Peaches dropped it because you're both useless. Hopeless Peaches and Leo Convoy are not heroes. They're jokes. Leo has also had a separate thread made on him where he was exposed for telling a minor to record their essay in order to substantiate it. Here's a clip.
From here. And,
yes, we know. The infamous clip everyone's always upset about. I don't want to go over the Mint Heart stuff because it's literally not relevant to anything that's going on right now. It's just put in to add insult to injury, I guess.
Insane. Here's another gem that Hopeless Peaches released. Remember, calling the police is vigilantism, surveillance is entrapment, and public nicknames is doxing.
Oh, I
Calling
see.
the police is vigilantism if you have nothing to give them of substance, which you don't. Anyone can call the police. Surveillance isn't entrapment, but in the context that you're using, it is. And an argument can be made for the creep in regards to it in legal proceedings. But you're too stupid to know that. And no, public nicknames isn't doxing, but it really does show how fucking useless you are. Because if these public nicknames are all you have, what are the police going to do with it? Again, this is the most useless dynamic duo I've ever come across in my life. Moving on. This part of the video is for anyone who ever gave me shit for calling this dumbass a sympathy seeker. I called it 3 years ago, and there has been no change. Hopeless Peaches, for the first time in a long time, finally receives backlash for something she did online. And despite having no issue with their daddy telling anyone
Is this the perfect time to gimmick the video again? What do you mean by that?
off themselves, or allowing people to throw around ableist slurs to anyone they dislike in their servers, or she herself being aggressive and rude to other people, is met with an audience who couldn't give a fuck about how she feels. Karma is a beautiful thing. There, you can quit telling me to KMS now and implying I love harming kids for clout. I'm not covering shit. I'm not touching serious topics again because I never fucking help anyway. She quotes a tweet on her other account that says, so the kid being dragged through the dust changed their mind about wanting help, so I just see all this shit, this kid is being called a pedo, and now I'm being smeared as some harm
Well, at least somebody caught the original screenshot.
of children, and I honestly fucking give up. I failed and I'd rather be fucking dead. Don't DM me. And just like clockwork, Hopeless Peaches cries that she wants to K-word herself after receiving backlash online. But I was told I was wrong for vocalizing how this person—
Although, to be fair, she never, like, explicitly said, I'm going, or I want to kill myself, but it was heavily implied. One thing I thought about at the time, but I forgot to mention that in her, in the statement she put, when she screenshotted that statement and put it onto her main account, she said something about, she started with, there, you can stop telling me to kill myself now. That could imply her saying that is like, you can stop telling me to because I will. She didn't explicitly say that, but you could say that that was the implication. Like I did to the Neo video. Oh, I see. I don't know, you can if you want to. It'd be kind of funny to see what you would do with something like this.
and always brings up their mental health and goes private when people aren't kissing her fucking ass 24/7.
Are you
That doesn't mean
fucking
that anyone's
kidding
gonna die,
me?
but it's been known for 3 years now that this dumbass needs to get some help, and instead of encouraging her to do that, she got a platform full of people just as pathetic as her, validating her every move. Doesn't feel too good when the tables are turned, huh? Goofy. Hopeless Peaches also makes a point that
Goofy.
a kid is getting dragged as if the person who posted the initial tweet isn't 15. So they're both kids. Like, is one less valid because you don't agree with them, and the other devoid of fault because you personally believe that what's been detailed in the doc isn't true? Food for thought. Anyways, that's going to be it for this video. Hopeless Peaches and Leo are both—
Cool. I'm glad you had I mean, I don't know. I feel like he could have taken his time to make this video and actually, you know, instead of just assuming it's a bunch of kids arguing with each other, actually treat it with the severity that it deserves. But I guess he didn't feel like it was important enough to put that sort of effort into. Oh my god. Wrath found somebody who looks like this in Final Fantasy XIV. Yeah, welcome to Final Fantasy XIV. You'll find so much of this. You know what, next time, maybe tomorrow or something, maybe not tomorrow, because I'll be streaming. But it'll definitely be a shorter, more casual stream. But, next time we're in call doing something, Wrath, I need to show you some Final Fantasy XIV, comedy videos. They're so good. OMG, Santa's real. I cannot fucking believe you. Are you kidding me? She's definitely got one of those voices that you just can never forget.
both internet vigilantes who do absolutely nothing but make noise on their YouTube channels under the guise of protecting victims. Just because you made a YouTube video about matters like this does not make you a verifiable source, and nor does it mean that everybody is fiending for Hopeless Peaches' help and assistance. That's going to be it for me. If you like this video—
Yeah, so